hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup. Guys, we're going to be doing another episode of the longer version of the Redmond Roundup. It's another episode with the tunes, and you like the tunes. I'm glad you like the tunes because the tune likes you and the channel loves you because you love the channel and we all support each other. Guys, do smash a like if you enjoy, leave a cheeky subscription. We have got a stacked episode from top to bottom. So do you know when you see those UFC cards? I am talking this is UFC 200. I am talking this is on the caliber of when UFC decide to whack on 3 title fights. We have got a huge show. We begin the show. I'll show you the rundown and then we'll get into the first topic. And as you can see by the title, it's about my guy. But anyway, we're going to be starting off the show with a little bit of a reaction because I ended yesterday's Redmond Roundup with a bit of a surprise. Basically talking about what we ended on yesterday. So I mentioned John Cena and John Cena reacted to my video. So that's one of the first things I want to get into today. Following this, we're going to talk about Sadio Mane, who might be leaving Bayern Munich, but we'll delve more into that. Later on in the show, we're going to be joined by a very special guest in League Gunner, one of the most, I'd say one of the best heels that has ever graced YouTube. You need somebody who's going to be thought-provoking. League Gunner is that and more, and whether you agree or disagree, he'll at least back up his point with something he genuinely believes. So I'm looking forward to that. He's not going to be happy with the Arsenal situation. So let's see how that goes. But guys, the first thing I do want to get into before we talk about my guy Sadio, who might not be my guy if he moves to a certain club. Before we go into the John Cena thing, I just want to say thank you for the support on the last video. Also, shout out to Manchester City for winning the league because that was a huge event that I didn't really mention. I'm actually getting a Manchester City fan on either the next episode of the Redmond Roundup or the following one. So stay tuned for that. But we'll delve into the John Cena thing. Let me just tell you a little bit about James Redmondinho. So I've always been entertainer first. I've always practiced being entertaining naturally because growing up, my only interest was the UFC, football and the WWE. And WWE went stale for a little bit for me, just as I got a little bit older. But it's still something that I've always had heavy nostalgia towards. If I see Randy Orton in the ring, it's cool. If I see John Cena in the ring, it's very cool. And it's actually getting a little bit better with the Roman Reigns storyline. But basically, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a WWE wrestler. And to see John Cena react to my Mane video is quite crazy. And I thought I'd do a reaction of me reacting to John Cena, reacting to my video. So, yeah, man, I suppose we should just get right into it.
Right now, I bring you the microphone. Microphone.
I might even start doing the Redmond Roundups on here on this StreamYard thing because it hasn't been as bad. I just get fearful of the connection.
I'm talking facts here. I don't do ifs, buts, and maybes. I do absolutes. And you know, like, if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle. But she doesn't, so she's not. You know what I'm trying to say?
I love the way he repeats it.
I said it last time I was on it. He's the...
Jeez, look at the tan that I've got on there, though, boys and girls. Have you seen it? I look gorgeous. I look like I've just came back from Tenerife.
best football player in the world. I don't know why people... Why he's laughing for? What, Chris, why are you laughing for?
What he's laughing for?
I'm being serious.
I'm being serious.
No, you say, I'm talking facts here. I don't...
What are we saying on the Scouse accent, by the way? It's so weird seeing John Cena trying to copy me. Like, I'm not trying to make myself a big deal or nothing, but I just mean genuinely use, like, when I was a kid all the time, I'd watch John Cena, and just to see this, it's like, you know, what God's done for me and, like, getting this interview out there, mate, it's insane. It's genuinely insane, but, like, it is one of those pieces that you're proud of, yeah.
Do if buts and maybes. I do absolute
Some ladies.
And, you know, like, if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle, but she doesn't, so she's not. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
So she's not really, but I'm loving the way you say it.
Kid's 9, and he's that sharp.
This bit pissed me off, so I'm 9.
Razor wit. I didn't have jokes like that when I was 6.
Now I'm 6.
This kid's 3.
Now I'm 3. Honestly, real proof that we live in a simulation that John Cena's reacting to my video. Shout out to John Cena. Anyway, so we're going to go into the Sadio Mane thing. Now, for those who don't know, Sadio Mane has become a boxer and he started chinning people who have a similar name to him. He had an altercation with Cena. Apparently now everyone doesn't like him. And we've always knew Mane's this, like slightly aggressive fella, and I can't respect it, you know, the way he's dropping kids in training and on the pitch and that. And do you remember when he fronted Salah to go up to Salah and say, "What are you doing?" and then still be fuming when you're off the pitch when you're winning like 2-3-0. Honestly, it's a testament to, like, do you know when people say they like proper passionate footballers? they were so contradictory when Mane done that, because Roy Keane was lauded for the fact that he took out Haaland there, and then he was lauded for the fact that he always went in for tough tackles and he's a proper old school footballer. But when Sadio Mane does it, it's a really huge problem, and it's a bit weird because it was with his own teammates, and I get that side of things. But it shows the element that he's competitive, and when you're playing for Bayern Munich, I would assume a trait that you would want one of your star players to have is competition, but that's just not enough. Mane has been below par. He hasn't been the same Mane as what he was at us in the last few months. And now he could be on the way out. But what has arisen is some news about him potentially going back to the Prem. And I'm seeing links with Newcastle, which is fine. Newcastle I don't mind as much. But then when I'm seeing links to Chelsea and Manchester United, guys, am I right in recollecting a quote from Mane saying he'd never join another team in the Prem? Or he'd never join a rival of Liverpool? The reason why that's now changed is because Mane isn't favoured at Bayern. He is not necessarily finished in terms of age. Like, I'm sure somebody could see some value in Mane there. But he's also on very high wages. And who can only afford those wages if you're not Bayern Munich? It's probably going to be a team in the Premier League, a team like Chelsea or a team like Man United. Now, if it's Newcastle, I actually think that's quite a cool signing. And I'd actually want him to do all right at Newcastle, depending on if it affects us in our top 4 or title pursuit next season. But if I saw Sadio Mane lifting a Manchester United shirt or Chelsea shirt, that's going to be a really, really big problem for me. Now, I'm going to rule out the idea of Manchester United buying him. On the other hand, Chelsea, I can't really see it, because if you think about it, they've got Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling's on a big contract. He's not going to go anytime soon. They've just bought in Mudryk, who's an £80 million sign, and that's 2 players in that position. Now, unless you want to go with the false 9 role and put Mane in the middle, because that's where he's done really well for us, then maybe it works. But will he go to Chelsea? I'm not too sure. Let's see how the story develops over time. But I do think that's worrying to a degree. I think that's worrying that Sadio, like, that we're seeing because if he doesn't go to Bayern, this is what I'm trying to say to you. If he doesn't go to Bayern, it is very limited on where he can go. He might be able to go to Barca, but they've got big signings and they've got financial issues. And they don't seem overly keen to sign Mane anyway. Real Madrid would never go near Mane because of his age. PSG, they've got Neymar. Maybe if they sold Neymar, they'd bring in Mane. But I think they'd be aiming to get more of a household name. I mean, you've got Kingsley Coman in the same team. If Kingsley Coman was available, why not go for him? Or Diaby from Leverkusen, who's also French. I don't see, someone who you can build in with the future project of PSG. Mane, I don't think, involves himself in the future project. All I do see, if he is to leave Bayern Munich, is seeing him go into the Premier League, because even though, people look at it like, oh, footballers are greedy, money this, money that, footballers now are businesses in themselves. So Mane is no longer a player that just plays for Bayern Munich. The business that is Bayern Munich have now bought in a business that is Sadio Mane, a business that they can also offload. And the business of Sadio Mane involves charity work. The business of Sadio Mane is helping the less fortunate. To do these things on a bigger scale, you need big funds, and that's why I understand certain footballers and their incentive to want more money. In any realm of life, people would not turn down more money, but it is only aimed at footballers when it comes to the money situation. But you're the one watching the games. It's a contradictory thing, you know what I mean? Maybe if he goes to Saudi, that could be a shout. I just thought of that on the spot. But let me know where you think that Mane's going to go to next. If you're a United fan, a Newcastle fan, or a Chelsea fan, is that a player that you'd want to see on the ranks? And then I propose a question for Liverpool fans. Would you take him back at Liverpool? I wouldn't. And I know that's kind of mad because of the whole thing. That was great for the era that it was in. I said the thing. It then went really big. Mane ended up being world-class to the point where Messi even voted him for the Ballon d'Or. So from that aspect, I'm happy that it happened. Let's be happy we witnessed it. Let's be happy I got something right. But let's not do it again. Let's not ruin any potential legacy. The only way I'd bring Mane back is like on a Thierry Henry thing, where he goes away for a couple of years, then is really finished, but then we bring him on for a League Cup game because he's on a 6-month loan spell. I would not mind seeing Mane in those circumstances. In a circumstance where we need to get from 5th to 1st, that is not the player that we need to acquire. Where did we finish with him? 2nd? I mean, I suppose in that aspect it could get us closer, but we've got Diaz. We've got new left wingers coming through. We've just bought Gakpo. Let's focus on the future. I wouldn't take him back at Liverpool. Let me know if you would. Bear in mind, it was Mane who wanted to leave because of the wages. So it was kind of like a partial thing, but Mane wanted to leave. If a player wants to leave, you don't really bring them back. You don't go back to your exes like that. But I do think about this one every single day. Just the memories that we had. But it is finished. If you watch Mane now, it's not the same. If you watch Mane towards the end, it was only the system change that really got a tune out of Mane. And I don't think Bayern are willing to make as much sacrifice for Mane than what we was going to, because we noticed what he could add into the team last year. And we nearly, I say nearly with like a lot of bitterness, but nearly won a quadruple. So it is what it is from that point of view. Let me know about Sadio Mane in the comments down below. By the way, did you see Raheem Sterling? And he got embarrassed in front of Chelsea fans. I thought that, in front of City team. The reverse Robin Van Persie, if you will. It was really surreal. Like, he's had to do a clap of honour for Liverpool, his former team, and then he had to do it for Manchester City. The irony in that is crazy. Because if he weren't starting, if he was on the bench, he wouldn't have had to do that, whereas he had to do it because he was starting, you know what I mean? Oh, Raheem Sterling. Raheem the Dream. Raheem the Dream. Is Sterling finished? I think Sterling could be finished. I think he's been finished. I think Pep Guardiola noticed something, and I don't think it's helped that he's gone into a Chelsea team. But is Sterling one of the greatest British players of all time? You have to say it. You know what I mean? He kind of reminds me of like the less volume British Mo Salah. Like, you know, they're both not supremely technical, but they're both just in the prime, especially like Salah's prime's right now. Sterling was over a season ago. They get goals, man. And even like the way Sterling comes clutch for England, I do feel like he's one of the more underrated players. But there's aspects to where he was overrated at times as well. Like when people used to say he was better than Mane, I thought, what are you smoking? But then when you do look at his numbers at the time, it was similar, if not more than Mane. So if you're going to go based off numbers, then I suppose you're going to get to that conclusion. But anyway, guys, I want to get into the next part of the show. We've got a very special guest, someone who is quite controversial in some aspects, but very thought-provoking in every aspect, and I think they're the best people to speak to. He's not going to be a happy gentleman because of Arsenal's situation, but let's go and tune into the main man. That is Lee Gunn, and be sure to subscribe to his channel as well, guys. And I am with the one, the only, the main man himself, the guy who's making this episode a really big deal. It is Lee Gunn. Lee, can I tell you something, my friend?
You can, man. Tell me.
So, I am a huge fan of your work. I just said that to you off camera, didn't I?
You did.
Reason being is because I can recognise certain greatness that people possess, and the greatness in which you have and in what you bring to this platform is that you, and I've said this about Rants as well, you are one of the greatest heels that the game has ever seen. Do you know what a heel is? Do you know the definition of a heel? You are one of the best, and I don't even know if you mean to do it, and if you don't mean to do it, then that's even better. But you are one of the greatest heels, and I just want to say, from a perspective of being a Lee Gunner fan, I appreciate that work, sir.
No, thank you, man. You're making me blush now.
Come on. You've got to recognise it.
I just say what I think, mate. Like, and I'm the same off camera. Like, to be honest, I can't wait for the season to finish, which is very soon. And then my summer starts getting better. But it is. Like, I just say what I think, James. I'm sick and tired of no, I'm not going to call other channels out. That's not fair. But there's other people that they say one thing online and then they say something completely different offline. That ain't me, yeah? Say what I want. If people don't like it, don't watch it. If they do, fantastic, great.
I'm very much going to second what you've just said there in terms of what you said about yourself being off camera. I can only second that from what I see off your off camera when we're having conversations and whatnot. But now, lad, even speaking of the season, if you can describe Arsenal fans in one word who are still Arteta in, what's the word?
I'm going to have to think carefully because there's quite a few.
It's pre-recorded. We can bleep it out. That's the beauty of a pre-recorded show.
Gullible. Gullible is probably the word, mate, to be honest, because there's a lot of other words I could use, but...
It's a good word.
Like, I think gullible because they believe anything the club tell them. Like, this club is... It's just a PR agency and a clothing line. That's it. We've gone back to the same level we were 7 years ago, which was deemed not good enough, which is why I was marching down the Hornsey Road to get Arsene Wenger out. Yeah, and in that 7 years, we've done £1 billion to go back to the same level. Like, not for me, mate. Like, not for me. It's not good enough, James. And the way it's gone, I've enjoyed a lot of this season. Yeah, because we were playing great football, we were top. But the one thing that's wound me up the most out of all of it, two things actually. Number one, the January transfer window was a shambles. Yeah, and number two, the way the same players that bottled top 4 last season have switched off and bottled this season, and some of them are being rewarded with new contracts. Well, you failed for 2 years in a row. The first season, half season, he won the cup. Great, fantastic. The second season, you can say, okay, cool. He was trying to repair get some of the players out, some of the players in, whatever. But the last 2 seasons, it's pretty much been his whole teammate. Yeah, and we've won nothing. And he's thrown cups away to try and win a league. And then we've done that at the end, 15-point swing in 6 weeks. Won 1 game out or 2 games out of our last 9. And sorry, mate, not good enough.
Do you think that you know, because one thing I've saw Arsenal fans saying, one thing that fans do in general, and it's usually with big fan bases because there's so many fans, so you're bound to get people who maybe don't know as much about football, therefore they come up to conclusions differently to other people. But the one thing that I was getting told from Arsenal fans, even when I was on the bandwagon, you still wasn't. I said that you were probably going to go on and win the league title. You know your team better than me, and that was a prime example of it. I saw Arsenal fans basically saying, oh, even if we miss out on it this year, then listen, mate, they're all about 22 anyway, so they're going to go next season. But what people don't realise is some people do really well when they're young. Some people do better when they're older. Systems are a huge part to play. And also by design, and this is a great point that you've made, you built that. That was the plan. That was the project. When you let go of David Luiz and all these players, that was the main thing that you wanted to do. You said, we're not doing well at selecting the more experienced players. Let's get people in who we're going to be able to influence and infiltrate our style onto. You've had a couple of years to do it, and like you said, you haven't reaped the rewards for it yet.
And the thing is as well, it's a youth project by design. Yeah, it's a young manager by design.
Yeah.
And the reason that is because when it doesn't end up resulting in any trophies, it can be used as, oh, well, it's a young squad. It's now an excuse by design. Yeah, and it's like, for me, no. I don't see no youth projects anywhere else. I don't see no phases. Like, we're in phase 3, apparently. Okay, can somebody tell me how we got to phase 3? Because he won a trophy after 6 months. So did that take us from phase 1 to phase 3 instantly and miss out phase 2? Like, when does phase 3 end and phase 4 kick in? Like, all I want to know as an Arsenal fan, because everyone keeps telling me it's a youth project. Then they keep telling me it's a process. Then they keep telling me it's a phase. Then progression. Can somebody tell me when it's going to be universally acceptable to actually demand trophies? Because he's going into his full season in the summer. Yeah. He's signed 21 new players. He's done nearly £500 million. There's only 6 players left from when he inherited the squad. Yeah. Of which some of them will be going in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob Holding will probably be going. Reece Nelson will be going. Eddie shouldn't be here. Kieran Tierney's going to be going. He inherited him. Xhaka's going to be going. So the only one that's going to be left out of the 6 he inherited, 7 he inherited. Eddie and I said Eddie, did I?
Yeah.
The only one that actually gets any game time going forward next season is going to be Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
So this is his squad, bro. It's his team. It's his stamp on it.
But do you think that he's maximised what he can do with this set of players? And do you not think that with another year with these owners, because you've got to remember it's these owners. So when people blame Klopp for our lack of achievements this season, I'm not saying he's without blame 100%. And I feel like people can't accept the answer that it can be a little bit of both. So if you want to donate 80% to FSG because there's been plenty of chances where we've won the Champions League, we've won these trophies, and we didn't go out and have successful windows. Whereas we've not achieved those things, getting top 4, and then we've went out and had a great window. Now you've got top 4. I've seen in the past that the owners have never kicked on from that point. Is that a Arteta problem, or is that more of an owner problem? If it is more of an owner problem, why would Arteta be the one to go out first? Why is that the solution? If they still remain.
So to be fair, the ownership of this football club is a shambles. But if you own a corner shop, right, and you're selling goods in that corner shop to all the people that are coming in every other weekend to buy it, and 99% of the customers are happy, and you put your prices up every year, and they're still coming back, why are you going to change anything you're doing if they're still happy and they're still buying it at double the price next year? Like, they're still going to come back. So for me, I think I'd put this season down to the manager. But at the same time, we didn't go out and have a January window that I class as a success. We didn't have a summer window that I class as a success. But James, I'm in the 0.1% that are saying this. Everyone was lauding up Fabio Vieira signing, Zinchenko signing, Jesus signing, hyping up Trossard, rightly so. I think he's a top player. Hyping up Kivior. I didn't even know he played in the World Cup. That's how interested I was. Hyping up Jorginho.
Who is Kivior? Is he that centre-back that everyone was banging on about because he's left-footed?
Yeah, and he was playing at right centre back, and then the other day he was playing at right back. Yeah, that kills that myth that you need a right-footed player on the right side, doesn't it? Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
Nah, that was a bad argument. I've saw that argument loads of times, and I just think.
But for me though, man, that January window, I said it. We were 5 points clear going into the World Cup, and I said we're going to see the ambition of Arsenal Football Club and its fans, and they were all happy with Jorginho and Kivior. Yeah, and now it doesn't matter. And the thing is, people can moan about the owner all they like. Yeah, but let's be real. They've given this manager every single thing he's wanted, bro. Yeah, yes, okay, cool. We didn't get Vlahovic, but we ended up with Jesus. Yeah, yes, we didn't get Caicedo. We might get Declan Rice. Yeah, we might just end up with, I don't know, Onana from Everton or Zubamendi from Sociedad or somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, but every single player that he's wanted, within reason pretty much, he's had at least 75% of the players he wants. Players out the club, he's had pretty much every single player out the club he's wanted. New contracts, he's signed up everyone that he's wanted. So for me, it's like, when is the pressure actually on him to achieve something? Because he won something with a squad that was deemed toxic, negative, bad eggs in the dressing room, that he's inherited a mess. Well, with that mess, he won the FA Cup. He's got rid of pretty much every single one of them, bar 6 of them. He's had 21 players on top of that, done nearly $500 million. He's thrown away every cup competition along the way. Yeah, let's not forget, the FA Cup win was 4 FA Cups ago, bro. 4 FA Cups ago. Yeah. And he's not won anything. And it's like 3 full seasons in a row he's not won anything. But because he took us so far backwards, this is seen as success. Yeah. Well, for me, it ain't. I've seen us in the Champions League 20 years straight, getting hammered every... Last time we were in the Champions League, we lost 5-1 twice in a row to Bayern Munich. It was our last 2 games in the Champions League. And everyone's hyped to get in there. Bro, we're in pot 3. We're in pot 3. we could end up with PSG and Real Madrid in our group. And Galatasaray. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, come on. Yeah. This guy couldn't even beat our ex-manager with Villarreal.
I'm trying to be a good devil's avocado here, and you're making it fucking difficult, fuck's sake. Now, do you know what? The only thing I would say is I think you're right to have those high standards. I think those high standards have been removed from football fans, again, through indoctrination, through indoctrinating a fan base into believing there's a future. So when you keep telling people that there's going to... This is in all realms of life as well, by the way. If some people, this will go over their heads, but in all realms of life, you're going to get aspects to where they'll always dangle a carrot, basically, and then you're going to keep following that carrot, and it might be your next month's rent. It could be anything. In reference to football, it's the next summer transfer window, and now you're seeing things like we're linked with McAllister, we're linked with... And people are saying we need 3-4 midfielders. If you think FSG are going to go out and get 3 to 4 midfielders, that is ludicrous. And that is why I always say Jurgen Klopp is the one to maximise the current circumstances. Is he capable of mistakes? Absolutely. In fact, he makes a few more than what I'd like to see. But in terms of what he can do for us, I believe he maximises our resources from an owner standpoint. And when I say resources, I'm not saying we're poor. I'm not saying we've got nothing. But it's obviously not the strongest. And it's not even the fact it isn't the strongest. It's not even the fact that it's not on the level of certain teams in the top 6. My issue is they're not using all of their resources. That's my only issue. I know you're not using as much as you can be. I know you're not taking enough risk. So clearly you don't care about as much as this as you say you do. You don't want to be a winner as much as you say you are, but you have to say that you're going to be a winner, because then I won't invest. And then the fans will get on your gripe because you've just said, and I quote, I want to win things. Therefore, you can't come out and be honest about what you're going to do in the transfer window, because guess what? If you do that, you're going to reveal that we're only going to sign about 3 players instead of 3 midfielders. That's just 3 midfielders that we need. So my point is to you is, because I understand when it comes to finding the problem, you also have to find the solution. Is the solution in this case getting rid of Arteta, having the same owners, and then bringing in a new manager? Like,
ideally,
if so, who?
Ideally, I'd like a shake. Like something like Sheikh Mansour would be perfect for me, bro.
I feel you.
But let's be real with it. Our owners ain't going anywhere. And the only way they go is when they've had enough. We can protest all we like. 7 people turned up last time. 7. Turkish and a couple of his mates were there. That's it, bro. Like, and he's tried his hardest, Turkish.
We're the same.
I give him his props for that, But for me, the quickest way to getting this club successful, and when I say successful, not finishing second with a new puppy at training, I'm talking about actually winning something, is a new manager for me. Because like if you look at Man City, they've got the best manager in the world. They've got the best ownership in the world for me. Currently, 100%. Right now. Not even a question. They're not spending what everyone thinks they're spending. In the last 5-6 seasons, they've spent not a lot of money, mate. Like, let's be real with this, I think they spent if you go down
on transfers, you're right on transfers.
If you go down the net route,
transfers.
I think they've done about 260 mil in 5 years because they're good at selling. Yeah, they're getting 60 mil for this player, 50 mil, 40 mil. They're selling all their youth teamers out like Chelsea.
It's a factory daily. It's a factory at Manchester City. They've got the youth academy producing players. They sold some fella called the Metched in the summer for 15 mil. Some fella called the Metched.
And bro, let's be real with this, right? When you actually look at Liverpool, you've got a top manager. Yeah, you've got a top manager. But like you said, the owner, but then the owner is not doing what is required to make that club more successful than it is. Right? But then when you look at Arsenal, well, we've gone down this PR route, youth project, phase 5 development plan. We're in phase 3. That's telling you there's 2 more phases for us to be successful. So that's lowered the standards. Yeah. Then when you go and have a look at Man United, you've got Ten Hag managing one of the biggest clubs in world football saying on Thursday, that's a final to go from 4th to 4th. I mean, that's the mentality. Man City must be sitting there rubbing their hands together going, this is easy, really. And when you actually look at how many points Man City were officially champions on, it was 85 points. Yeah, to put that into perspective, when Pochettino was manager at Tottenham and they finished 2nd, with a younger squad than Arsenal have got, by the way, they finished on 86 points, Tottenham, and Conte finished on 93. But Man City this season, before they won the game and got the trophy at the weekend, Man City had officially won the title after we drew with Forest, or lost to Forest, sorry. They won it on 85 points. Yeah, well, sorry, that ain't all singing, all dancing Man City for me. They didn't have to. They didn't have to go and get 95 points. They didn't have to go and get 100 points. They got 85. Yeah, and then they're looking at all these other clubs around them and they're thinking, well, Liverpool ain't doing what they should be doing. Arsenal are going down that route. They're taking all of our sloppy seconds. Yeah. Tottenham are a laughing stock. They're more interested in go-karting and Beyonce. Yeah, then they're looking at Chelsea going, well, he ain't got a clue. The Cowboys down in West London. They're sitting there. Man United ain't got a clue. They're in turmoil with the ownership. They're sitting there going, well, this is easy. We can win it again next year. Yeah. Yeah, and then the way it works and the way it's manipulated and the way it's put out there is all the fans are now, oh, Man City are cheating. Man City are this. Man City. Well,
sound like our fan base. We were trying to get Premier Leagues that have been gone. They've been gone. And we had fans going online saying we need to get these Premier Leagues back.
I've seen fans today. Somebody sent me a TikTok video with this guy. He's got a massive following on TikTok saying the league should be given to the team that's top the most. Yeah, not the team that's top at the end.
That went over my head. I can't comprehend.
The team that's top the most days in the season should be the one that's crowned champions, not the team that actually finished.
That's a joke. That's got to be a joke, sure.
Right? His whole thing.
But it's your. But you know what? Though, just to even give you a good point, and I think this one was serious. There's a tweet that went out of some kid, and he was talking about he was well, mate, and this was before the last game that you had, and he came on camera. He was like, mate, all these fans saying this, that, and the other, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you're about 12 points behind us, mate, and you're there trying to chat to me like you can. Anyway, he moves on to say, by the way, did you know that if Mikel Arteta wins the remaining games, then that means we've got the highest ever points tally in the Premier League? And I was like, who's asked? Because it's not going to result into having a league title.
And guess what? We then proceeded to go and lose 1-0 to Nottingham Forest.
This is what I'm saying. So all I'm saying is don't counter a fan saying you bottled it by saying, oh, but it's the highest ever point. No one cares. No one cares. Like, and that's why when we went for it, we just accepted in the end that City were just the better team. We were miles better than everybody else. But that's just not something that you want to brag about. The reason why we were impressed is because of how much, not only did we improve, but the fact that we've done it back-to-back, 90-point seasons back-to-back, then fell off and then got back to that level, which shows that there's a manager there with a philosophy. Now what remains to be seen, and this is the last point, I think Arteta might deserve maybe one more season to show it, because I get it, one more trophy, no trophies next season, that'd be just too far. If he does, if he can have one more season, I think there's a chance of progression, but to be honest with you, with Liverpool coming back, City not looking like they're going to get any worse, United's only going to spend more money, Chelsea for sure going to be spending more money. This was the chance, when you really think about it.
100%, mate, 100%. And the thing is, we can't be resting our players in the Champions League next season. Yeah, and you know, people are talking about thin squad this and we've got a thin squad. Well, why were you all jumping for joy about transfer windows then? You should be crying on Arsenal Twitter, on Arsenal Insta, on your YouTube videos, tagging the football club in it, saying that's a disgrace that we got Jorginho. Why didn't we get Caicedo? Yeah, and people talk about, oh yeah, but they didn't want to sell. I'm quite sure if we slapped 500 million quid on the table for him, they would have sold, wouldn't they? So there's a price between the 83 million apparently we bid and $500 million that they would actually sell for. So you've got to find the price. But it's just coping mechanisms, man. Unfortunately, I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Getting
but
used to
the
them.
one thing that gives me a slight little bit of hope is 30,000 fans walked out against Brighton after 72 minutes.
Fair play. Fair play.
So,
Fuck.
The only downside to that was they didn't boo on their way out.
Okay.
Yeah, but if they're walking out after we've been in a title charge for most of the season, and they're walking out getting
that's actually impressive.
2 and 3-0, and they're walking out next season, we better fix up real quick. Otherwise, that stadium will be empty for a lot of it at times, mate, and people will be walking out. And then that's when I think the worm will turn. But there's been a lot of people, James, sitting on social media that have been lying through their teeth about this manager just to get on, have good vibes. They're looking for the next Arsene Wenger. They're looking to repair damage done because they were Arsene Wenger out and it clashed. And they're trying to repair the bridges that were broken between them. Yeah, and I see through it. I say what I want, say what I think, and I mean what I say.
This is why we need you on the platform, though, lad. Lee, if I can ask you one more thing before we round this up. I saw something from David Ornstein about Declan Rice and Mason Mount. Do you believe anything about these rumours and are these players that you believe are of an Arteta ilk to take Arsenal to that almighty Premier League title?
Well, apparently we were going to sign world-class players when we get in the Champions League, James. So I'm not quite sure why Mason Mount's on the hit list.
Oh, he's not. Yeah, to play a little bit. He's all right. He's all right.
He's not bad. I don't mind.
I don't understand it though, because you've got Odegaard.
Yeah, but I think he'll play in the Xhaka position if we get him.
Xhaka? Oh, yeah. Why are Arsenal fans crying over Xhaka, by the way? I didn't realise.
They want redemption, mate. They forgot that he played in the 10-2 against Bayern Munich.
Storyline FC. That's why he's like Arteta. That's why he's like Xhaka, because there's a nice storyline there if it works out.
Mate, this is not Disney or WWE. I ain't interested. Do you know what I mean? This is an elite level football club. How can I care less about the story, bro? But Declan Rice, I'll take him, but I don't think we're signing him. Yeah, and the reason I think that is because, well, what we should be doing is signing Declan Rice and Caicedo, but we won't. Yeah, we'll go in for one, and we'll probably not end up with him because Man City are giving Calvin Phillips as a swap deal plus cash. Yeah, for either one of them. We may end up with him. I don't know, but you need midfielders. Man United need midfielders. Man City are going to need midfielders. A few of theirs might be leaving. We need midfielders. Yeah, Real Madrid need midfielders.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I didn't realise how much the midfielder market was needed. That's crazy.
And that's what I'm saying, man. And it's like, if we're in for Declan Rice and then Man City knock on the door, he's going Man City. It's as simple as that.
It's Black Friday for midfielders. Lee, you're a legend. Thank you so much for coming on my channel, brother. That was really good insight, as it always is, guys.
Thanks for having me on. I love you, man. I love you too.
I love you too, brother. I love you too, brother. Guys, please do go subscribe to Lee. Like, always help me out in the game, and I understand you might disagree with his points, but appreciate what he brings to the platform. It's thought-provoking. It's an opposing view. That's never a bad thing. So, guys, go subscribe to Lee Gunner. Always be open to discussion. And, yeah, see you in the next part of the show.
I'll take her out.
Guys, be sure to go and subscribe to Lee Gunner. We're going to be getting loads of guests on the Redmond Roundups in future. They're going to kind of be integrated within the show like Lee was tonight, and I really appreciate them coming on. Be sure to subscribe, and we're going to end the episode with your super chats. Although I want you to imagine this like a live stream, it's not actually a live stream. I meant comments, YouTube comments. So be sure to leave yours, because in future I want to kind of have a segment where I talk to you and respond to your stuff. That's what the comment segment is going to be about. Anyway, let's get into it. So shout out to Abdullah Rahman. I really apologise if I said Abdul Rahman. There we go. I think I got that right. James, Nunes will never be good enough. We need to bring a striker this summer and sell him eventually. Next window, I didn't want him. Last window, I didn't want him when we were linked, and I hate the fact that we signed him so much. No technical ability, can't finish. Why we having this debate? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, because I've been saying this ever since he joined, pretty much. I've always questioned whether Nunes will be the guy to get us in the title race, and then people respond to me about age. I don't know how or people will respond to me about language. I don't know how being able to say all that opposed to adios, all that opposed to hello, or goodbye opposed to adios translates to good finishing. Furthermore, I think that's one of the more harder attributes to improve in terms of being able to improve that consistency of finishing. And the biggest downfall for Nunes was not the system. He was getting chances. It was the conversion rate. And even though Salah's had a poor conversion rate, he's so good at getting the chances. Whereas Nunes, he's a mixture. He creates and tries to score, but he's not very technical. Therefore, it can actually lose us possession and disrupt the momentum of play and shift it into the other team's half. So not only is it a detriment because he's not scoring all the goals that he could be, but it's also a detriment because it can actually get us on the back foot a little bit. And this season, I think we've seen ourselves on that foot a few times. So I'm not saying, and again, people will be like, James, you're harsh. I don't care. Like, people can sit there and say, James, you're not that good of a YouTuber because your resources aren't great. You haven't got a good camera. You use earphones for your mic. You're not that good. And I'd respond to them and say, yeah, that's why I'm not on mainstream television, because I'm not that good of a YouTuber in terms of resources. Hopefully, if I improve my game over time, then I will. But if I always remain with these resources and I don't try and improve to become more entertaining, then what's going to happen? I'm going to stagnate. I don't want Liverpool to stagnate. I don't want Núñez to stagnate. I want what's best for Núñez, because what's best for Núñez is best for Liverpool. So the best Núñez would be good for Liverpool, but will it be good enough to win us league titles is the question I've always asked them. For some reason, that got such a provocative reaction at the start to where people thought I was just trying to be a hater. I saw Núñez, I saw what he could do. I still have me doubts, but I am open to being proven wrong, and I've actually become more lenient with Núñez as the season's gone by. So stop knob riding, basically. Anyway, shout out to Mikey Gamer or Mikey Games. This is really, really dark and like very small writing, and as you can see, I haven't got my glasses on, but hey ho, I'll turn into Superman for a second. I've watched a lot of McAllister, and although he's a very technical footballer, there is a lot of misconception about his work rate. I've watched his many Brighton highlights and even his full games studying McAllister, and he plays very much similar to Harvey Elliott. Ooh. See, I'm going to take this with a lot more value than my opinion, because I haven't watched McAllister excessively. I've saw highlight videos and I've seen him against us. And I watched the Arsenal game not too long back. Did he play? I believe he did play that game. And I've saw him a couple of other times. The next paragraph that he says is really good, though. He says, 10 goals in the Premier League is amazing. It sounds amazing. But 6 of those were penalties, which I actually didn't know when I mentioned them in the last Redmond roundup. He's similar to Harvey Elliott. 70 million is far too much, I understand it. In a few years, he could be an amazing player, but right now, he's 45 million player max. I think we should try sign him. I think we should sign him. He'd be a great addition, but to not expect him to be Gini Wijnaldum, because I made the comparison that Gini Wijnaldum, Gary McAllister can be that type of player. Now, I want to kind of reiterate, he doesn't have the legs like Gini, but he adds legs to the midfield, which we lack. He still has more legs than what we've currently got, is the point that I was trying to make with McAllister, which isn't very hard, I understand. But everything that you've mentioned about the 10 goals, because I really put a point and shines a light on the 10 goals thing, and then even to say that 6 of those were pens, he's not going to be our penalty taker, I know that for damn sure. And I do believe that there's still the misconception on the work rate, I'll give you. Everything else, I do believe there's an element where McAllister can give us something to show and something to prove, and I believe that we can see something from McAllister. He just can't be the sole addition. And also, I've saw the fee, or the rumour fee, actually be lowered slightly to about 60 million. So if that remains to be true, let me know if that changes your mind. But to be fair, he said 45. Anyway, shout out to Ashreenath. YouTube names are so weird. Excellent point on Gini versus McAllister. The last person didn't think so, but this is why I want to read the comments. It's important that we get the difference of people who agree and disagree, and look, it's changed my mind. I've now even been able to feed you, the audience, more information, thankfully due to the last person who raised the point that 6 of those goals were penalties. Now we're all going to think differently. Those who weren't on the McAllister train before are certainly not on it now, but I'm still just about aboard. I'll take the risk. I'm alright with it. Excellent point on Gini versus McAllister. Do you think Liverpool could have prevented this drop-off? Of course, oh, absolutely. The next thing he asks is if we went and got Calvin Phillips from Leeds. It could have been if we got anybody. It doesn't matter if it was Calvin Phillips from Leeds, if it was Michael Carrick in his prime at Manchester United, just a decent player. Doesn't need to be world class, just a good player in general, someone who can do a job and add to the midfield. We lost something when we lost Gini. The biggest mistake, and someone corrected me in the last video, the biggest mistake about Gini was not replacing Gini. Now we need to get the legs to accommodate Gini so we can thrive on what that style of play was. Because, yeah, for instance, tactics are very important for football, but sometimes the players just might be too good. So everyone knows what City is going to do sometimes. They're going to pass it round you. They're going to play better football. Yes, Pep might make a few mad tactical changes. But in the main, you get a prediction on what they're going to do. Yet you still can't stop it. Because you know they're going to score more than you. You know they're going to defend better than you. It's about who wants it more at the end of the day, with the combination of, you know, the morale of the players, the tactics of the team, and this, that, and the other, the condition of the facilities, and the volume of players and injuries. There's many factors, but in this case, if we just went out and was a bit more urgent in transfer windows to get the likes of Calvin Phillips, That would have been amazing, because even if we dropped off, we'd then know it's not an FSG problem. The club's in safe hands because the owners are trying. It's a Klopp problem. Because if he signed Calvin Phillips and he got the players he needed and he's still underachieved, then I get that. We can then direct the blame. But you can't direct the blame to Klopp, because we've been under-impressed every transfer window, yet we've somehow finished every season, bar this one, impressed. Even the season where we had no centre-backs, we finished that season buzzing. That's due to the works of Jurgen Klopp. That's due to the belief that he told us all to have. Sometimes you've got to put your faith into somebody like that. Liverpool fans done that and more, and we prospered in results. Jurgen Klopp was genuinely the game changer. The closest thing that we were going to get to God in football terms. We, in the modern era, we were not going to get any. We were never going to get a Carlo Ancelotti, who we were linked with at the time. We were never going to get one of these huge managers like a Zinedine Zidane. It had to be somebody like Klopp who invested into the transition. And if he's not going to get the players like Calvin Phillips, like what you've just mentioned, then yes, I believe that's a huge reason why we've dropped off recently. It needs to be maintained. You need to add on the volume. You need to stay on top. Sir Alex Ferguson said this. Pep Guardiola's admitted this. Jose Mourinho's admitted this. You need reinforcements constantly. Doesn't mean you need to replace every player every season, but yeah, when Milner is 35, start thinking about replacing him. Yeah, when you let Cena go, get a replacement. Yeah, when Mane's gone, like all these examples, like get someone of calibre who can replace him. All these factors. But hey ho, I'm just a Liverpool fan on a YouTube channel who chats absolute shit. The last question, well, it's actually more of a comment. It says, those dismissing the Europa League are arrogant, and you're just a small club supporter. I don't know who you support. It's not the Europa League, the trophy, that I'm dismissing. If we win it, then I'll actually enjoy the trophy. It's the journey that I can't be arsed with, and I understand the trophy's a trophy, but my team's won 6 Champions Leagues. And I do not want a Europa League. I mean, sorry, I do want a Europa League if we're in it, but I don't want the chance to win it, to be honest. I'd rather just not waste my Thursday. It's not as bad as the Conference League. I respect it more than that, you know what I mean? I can still watch a Thursday night game without cringing too much, but yeah, the Conference League, it's tough. It's tough. Anyway, guys, thank you for... Unless Jose Mourinho's in there, because Jose Mourinho made it spicy. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Smash a like if you want, and leave a cheeky subscribe if you want. Let me know if I'm a bellend if you want. But anyway, guys, let me know the show, how it's doing. Let me know your opinions, agree and disagree, and your comments may be added in the next video. But anyway, thank you for watching. Love to you and all of your mothers. And I will see you all in a bit. Peace.